Hi there, my name is Caitlin Bandy. This is my channel Bandy's Books, and today I'm here for Tag Tuesday. We're going to be doing the Booktube Journey tag. This tag was originally created by Books and Things, and I was tagged by Alan over at Big Hard Books and Classics. I'm really lagging on this one. I was tagged over a month ago by Alan, and I was a little bit behind on my tags, so I'm just now getting to it, but it has some really interesting questions. So let's jump into it, and I'll tell you all about my Booktube journey. Question number 1, how long have you been watching Booktube? So I want to say that I jumped into watching Booktube videos around the end of 2020. I actually wasn't involved in bookish social media at all. I wasn't even aware that it was a thing. I'm not somebody who watched Booktube for years. I pretty much found out about Booktube and then got into it shortly after. Question number 2, how long have you been making Booktube videos? I believe that I posted my first Booktube videos in October 2021. I had gone to my local bookstore and picked up a whole bunch of horror reads for Halloween, and so I made a couple videos about that. Question number 3, what made you start making videos? I feel like this is a story that I've probably told many times, but in case you've never heard it, my mom opened up a little free library and created an Instagram, and I was like, oh, I read a lot and I'm really into books. I didn't realize that there was like bookish social media out there. Let me jump into it as well, and then we can both talk about books. And so I started a Bookstagram as well. And from there, I found out that Booktube was a thing and that there are all these people making videos about reading. And like a lot of us, I didn't really have anyone in my immediate circle here in Las Vegas that really loved to read that I could shout about books with. So I was like, let me try making a YouTube channel. Question number 4, are there any people who have played a significant role in your Booktube journey? Yes, absolutely. In real life, my parents have played a huge role in my Booktube journey. So my mom obviously gets the credit for inspiring me to get into bookish social media in general, but she also shows up to all my reading sprints, all my live streams. She comments religiously on every single video I put up there. She's generally a super encouraging and supportive parent. My dad also watches a lot of my content. He recommends books. He is also a really big cheerleader for this channel. And then of course my partner Oz, who literally helps me film so much of my content, especially like my recipe and review videos where it's virtually impossible for me to do the camera work and the cooking and everything. He's the one sitting there trying to get angles and moving the camera and doing all of that work. And then he's also incredibly supportive of books as a hobby in general. So he is super patient about going to bookstores, visiting little free libraries. He doesn't read at all. Like, he is not a reader, and he still will go check out all the little free libraries with me. He'll go to the bookstore and carry my books around for me. He waits very patiently if I take hours in the bookstore. And so that's something I really appreciate. When I first started the channel, also, he commented on every single video that I posted because I had nobody following me at that point, and he knew I felt bad not receiving any comments or feedback. He does that less now. He'll just comment on the videos that, he has something to say about, but he still watches all of them and likes them and is generally, again, a really great cheerleader for me. I don't know, it wasn't exactly a collab, but it was cool being part of this compilation video. And then in terms of non-specific moments, but just people who have been really supportive, good friends on Booktube that I'm so glad to have met. I could again list so many channels, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention Hannah over at Savage Reads, Melinda over at A Web of Stories, Dia over at A Novel Idea, Jamie over at Jamie Kate, Scott at Gunpowder Fiction Plot, Angelia over at Read and Reread, Kristen over at Enter the Book, and Chris over at Chris Reviews. Editing Caitlin to add in Brian from Bookish and Alan from Big Hard Books and Classics. They maybe don't see every single video, but they always pop in from time to time to comment and leave thoughtful comments too. And just generally, I have been so glad that I have made such a lovely group of friends here on Booktube. So I would say that this is a handful of the people that have been really instrumental and encouraging in my Booktube journey. And there are, a ton more people that I could list here, but these are the ones that are off the top of my head sticking out right now. Question number 5, what kind of books do you like to read? So you can see a small subsection of my bookshelves right here. And I think that the books that are visible will give you kind of a pretty good idea of what types of books I like to read. So I read pretty much every single genre except for romance, and I don't even mind romance as a subplot. I just don't want books that focus on romantic relationships. I love both fiction and nonfiction, so really nothing is off limits for me. I think with this channel, I have less of a focus on genres and more of a focus on reading diversely. For me, part of the beauty of reading is reading perspectives that are different than your own. And so I want that to be reflected in my reading. I want my reading to reflect the world around me and not just my own little bubble. Number 6, how has that changed since you started Booktube? In terms of genres, the things that have changed is that I originally was reading more thrillers and books that were very popular. And that's because those were the recommendations I was seeing. I was mostly on Bookstagram, and I was dabbling in Booktube, but I didn't follow a huge wide variety of channels. And so I was seeing a lot of thrillers, a lot of horror, things like that. And I was reading them because that's what I knew. And I don't think that I'm a huge thriller reader. I do enjoy a good thriller once in a while, but I'm pretty critical of them. So I have since moved away from a lot of thrillers. Additionally, I think that I read a lot more literary fiction now. When I first started the channel, I think I viewed literary fiction as something that somebody getting a master's in English would read, not somebody that's just reading for a hobby. And I've come to realize that that's not correct at all. I've started reading a lot more experimental fiction, a lot more speculative fiction, and a lot more literary fiction. So that aspect has definitely changed. And then outside of genre, I think that one of the best things that Booktube has done for me is it's exposed me to a lot more international literature. So I follow a lot of different channels from a lot of different countries. And in each country, we obviously hear about specific types of books based on the publishing houses and what they're pushing. And so prior to getting really into Booktube, I think I was really focused a lot on American literature. And now I'm picking up books from all the different continents. I am really, I think, much more well-versed in the publishing houses in different countries, what the literary trends are in different continents and things. And so Booktube definitely had a hand in influencing that. Question number 7, what kind of videos do you like to make? So I like to make a lot of different types of videos. I think the videos that I enjoy the most, that are just like the most fun to make, would probably be like my little free library road trips and my indie bookstore hauls. So usually when I get to make those videos, I'm going on vacation, first of all, so that's fun. You know, we're taking a trip up to Zion and we're gonna stop at some of the cool bookstores on the way. I'm going home to San Diego and my mom and I are gonna go do a massive book unhaul or visit some cool bookstores. You know, my mom and I just took this huge road trip across the Southwest and we went to a bunch of bookstores and little free libraries. Those kind of videos are just a blast. It's just me relaxed, having fun. And it's also kind of cool because I never know what sort of books I'm gonna find. Like, what are you gonna find in the indie bookstores? What are you gonna find in the little free libraries? It's like a choose your own adventure kind of a scenario. So we really enjoy those. Outside of those, I would say I really enjoy my recipe and review videos. I love being able to merge my passion for cooking with my passion for reading. And I also really enjoy when people watch them and are enthusiastic about them. Those are probably my lowest viewed video. I get the least interaction with them, but the interaction with them that I get is so genuine and meaningful. I get a lot of people like, hey, I tried this recipe, it came out really good, my family loved it. And for me, that is such a nice thing. I love being able to share that joy of cooking and making cooking approachable in someone's home. Question 8, how has that changed since you started Booktube? And do you think your video making style has changed? So the types of videos that I've made since starting Booktube, some of them have stayed the same and some of them have changed. I still do TBR videos and wrap-up videos, and I still do book reviews. And those, you know, there's only so many ways to reinvent the wheel. The things that I do that are different are like the really leaning into the little free library road trips. That has really expanded. That started by doing just like a little local trip around my neighborhood to find some little free libraries. And now I've been all over Utah, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, and California checking out little free libraries. And I hope that eventually I'll be able to expand it all across the United States. I also started doing my book of the month and aardvark prediction videos, which has gone really well. This year, I also, for the first time ever, got involved with the Women's Prize. I read the entire long list, I predicted the short list, I predicted the winner. So this was my first time like getting involved in a literary award in that fashion. I've mostly in the past just kind of like skimmed to see what books were on the list, maybe read one or two, and that's it. So that's been a lot of fun, and those are all changes that have come over the years of being involved with Booktube. As for my video making style, has that changed? A little bit. I used to shoot my videos in my bedroom, and the lighting in there is terrible. And when I started, I didn't know anything about lighting. So now I shoot out here because it's much brighter. I have my colorful bookshelves behind me. I think it's aesthetically more appealing for the background of the video. And the acoustics are a lot better in this particular room than they were in my bedroom. I also used to shoot from weird angles, and I look back and I'm like, Caitlin, what were you doing? The other thing that has changed a bit is like the way that I talk in the videos. I used to be much more slow because I didn't script anything out, so I had to think and there were these pauses. Now I speak much more rapidly, and and I think my videos are a little bit more fluid than they were. So stylistically, maybe not a ton of changes, but production has changed a bit. Question number 9, do you script and or edit your videos, and has that changed over time? It has changed over time a little bit. I don't script them completely. I still do a lot of organic content, but so for example, this is the video we're shooting right now. So you can see there's the title, the original person that made the video, the person that tagged me, the questions, and who I'm tagging at the bottom. As you can see on this paper, I don't have the answers to my questions. So the reason that I have structured it this way is just it helps me to organize all of the main points, where I need to start, what information I need to hit, and then it gives me some space to organically answer these questions as I go. This is another video that I just shot for the Women's Prize. This was predicting the winner. So same thing, I put like the title of the book, the author, what I want to say about that specific book, then the next one, and it helps me keep everything in order and kind of organize my thoughts. This is definitely not even close to everything I said in that video. This is just some bullet points so that I can keep the flow of the video nice and smooth. And that has changed over time a bit. In the beginning, when I first started, I just did everything off the top of my head. And that's why when I look back on those videos, they don't seem very fluid. There's lots of long pauses while I'm thinking and taking moments to gather what I want to say. Number 10, what's the most viewed video on your channel? So I actually do not know. And so I'm going to pull up my YouTube studio and we're going to look right now. So we're going to switch it from most recent to most viewed. And so my most viewed video is actually a bit of a surprise. I would have told you that my most viewed video was likely to be a book of the month prediction video, because that is my biggest video every single month, and it keeps growing and growing. Like every month that I continue to do it, my viewer count goes up a little bit. But my actual most viewed video is a review, and I'm really surprised by this because when I post review videos, they're likely to get maybe 150, 200 views if I'm lucky on a review video when I initially post it. But the thing that's good about reviews is that they can be evergreen content. If it's a popular book where people have a lot of thoughts about it, then they'll keep looking for reviews of that video. And I think that's the case with this particular one. So it is a review of Lady Tan's Circle of Women by Lisa C. And it has 2,200 views on this video. When I first posted it, I think I got like 250 views. It was a popular book at the time, and I think I reviewed it very early on. And as you can see, people have continued to search it out. And so now it's my most viewed video. The next two most viewed videos are not surprises. I have April's 2024 Book of the Month prediction video that has 1,800 views, and I have my February 2024 Book of the Month prediction video that has 1,600 views. After that, we have something that is not a Book of the Month video. It is a little free library road trip, and it is when I went from Las Vegas to San Diego at Christmas time, and I took my sweet time and I stopped at a ton of little free libraries along the way, and I just unhauled a massive quantity of books. So that has 1,600 views as well. And then you can see from there, it's like Book of the Month, Book of the Month, Book of the Month, until I get to a couple more review videos. I have Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo and All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. So same thing, those books are probably getting searched a lot, very frequently, and so the views on them have continued to go up. Question number 11, what's your favorite video that you've ever made? I don't know that I have a singular favorite video that I've ever made. I think that, again, I really enjoy like my vacation vlogs and road trip videos and like the little free library and bookstore videos. Just those are the most fun. You know, who doesn't love finding new books in a little free library? You know, shopping obviously is a big dopamine rush. So you know those videos are always enjoyable to make. Question number 12, do you have a favorite book that you've read because of Booktube? So I'm not sure how to answer this exactly. I didn't read this specific book because of Booktube, but I delved into this genre because of Booktube, and that eventually led me to read this book, and that's The Vegetarian by Han Kang. So I read this last year, and I ended up absolutely loving it. I have a review video on this that's up here if you're interested, but this is a book that I thought I was not gonna get. It's abstract, it is very literary, it has an experimental format, it does a lot of really unusual things, and I just thought, oh, I'm not, you know, a literature major, I'm not somebody who's gonna really understand what this author is trying to say. And in fact, I actually ended up really resonating with what I perceived the message to be of this book, and it's one of those books where I've continued to think about it and just take more and more from it over time. And I don't think that I would have ever ended up picking up that book if Booktube hadn't encouraged me to get more into literary fiction. Question number 13, do you have a favorite Booktube experience to tell us about? I don't know that I have an individual favorite moment. There's been so many great moments over time. I've had some really fantastic shout outs by some really big channels that were really key in my channel development and even just continuing on Booktube. Probably the first one would have been when Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library shouted me out. I think I had like 60 subscribers and she shouted me out and it doubled overnight. This was when I was like a brand new channel. I was making terrible videos and I wasn't even sure if I wanted to continue. I felt like I was shouting into the void. You know, I'd get like 3 likes and 1 comment on a video and you're like, why am I putting in all this work if nobody's watching? And so that was a key moment for me because it encouraged me to keep going. Shortly after that, I received a shout out from Steve Donahue on a tag video. He mentioned my channel. He mentioned my old dog Gibson, who unfortunately has since passed away. And you know, he said some really nice things, and same thing. I went from like 150 subscribers to like 330 in like 2 days. And that was another bit of encouragement that just kept me moving forward. And then I had Krista from Books and Jams reach out a couple years ago. She does middle grade March every year, and she makes this compilation video with 30 booktubers where you each recommend a middle grade book that you've enjoyed. And I'm not even a big middle grade reader. It's not like I'm constantly recommending middle grade books, but she reached out and asked if I wanted to shoot a 1-minute clip for this video, and I got to participate in that. That exposed me to a bunch of new channels, a bunch of new channels to me, and it also got me into middle grade March. And so every year since, I have started reading books for middle grade March. So at the end of 2022, I was having some struggles with my Booktube and I hadn't posted for a while. I was feeling burned out. My channel had plateaued. I was around like maybe 400 subscribers. And I felt like more often I was losing people than gaining people. I just didn't know what to do. I was fed up and burned out. And so I wasn't posting anything. And then Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library and Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand reached out to me and they said, hey, we have this 5-star prediction thing that we do where we like to feature other channels, and we wanted to know if you'd be interested in doing a collab with us. So what you would do is you'd post an initial video where you pick 3 books and you predict them to be 5 stars. And then you shoot a follow-up video where you talk about, are those books actually 5 stars? And I decided that if I was gonna go forward with doing this collaboration with them, that I had to give my Booktube a real shot. I had to start posting regularly again. I had to stop focusing on the numbers and stop focusing on the interactions and just do the things that I was enjoying. And so I went ahead with it, and the collab ended up being a blast. I picked out 3 books that I thought would be 5-star reads. All of them were excellent. It was a lot of fun to do this series of videos. I got tons of encouragement and support, tons of comments. It gave my channel like a breath of fresh air, and it motivated me to really start posting content from there. Since then, I have been really dedicated to making sure I get content up every single month. Some months I am able to post more than other months. Like this current month that I'm in, I'm posting tons of videos because I'm at home resting. But the thing that's been important is there hasn't been a single month where I haven't posted anything. And I have let go of the numbers and the comments and just post what I enjoy. I post reviews of the books that I'm reading. I stopped focusing on like, oh, I've got to post reviews of books that are coming out right now, and just focused on like enjoying things. And that has really changed my channel. So for me, that particular moment was one of the most instrumental in making Booktube fun for me again. So thank you to all of those people that I mentioned there. I don't know if you realized when you shouted me out how much that shout out meant, but it definitely did. And I really appreciate it. Question number 14, what does your book collection look like? Well, you can see part of my collection behind me, but my bookshelf looks like this. So I am one of those people who likes to organize their book collection by rainbow. I know that people, you know, I know that that is offensive to some people. They're like, how do you find anything? Everything should be by, you know, the author's last name or the title of the book, whatever. I have no problem finding my books. I have a really good memory for what individual books look like. And so I rarely ever struggle to find anything. So you will see on my shelves that I have 3 books facing forward, and then behind it, I have a stack of books in the same color with the spine sticking out. The books that are facing forward, typically I'm just picking the books that I think are the prettiest. And so my shelves start with red and dark blue down here. They go through the rainbow. Then I have a monochrome shelf that's over there that's all black, white, and gray. I have a white book cart over here that is my TBR cart. I pick out TBRs for 3 months at a time. And that way, like as I'm pulling books, I don't have to always constantly be organizing my bookshelf. I have 2 end table book carts. One is for paperbacks in English, and then one is all of my books in Spanish. And then in my bedroom, I have built-in shelves that have all of my completed series on one side, and then all of like my single books where I'm still missing other books in the series on the other side. And then in my kitchen, I have a huge bookshelf full of cookbooks. And it's really funny because I don't actually really use cookbooks anymore now that I'm a professional chef, but they're books that I've collected over the years. They're cool, and I keep them because, you know, I enjoy flipping through them from time to time. What you doing? What you doing? Are you stuck? Question number 15, what advice would you give to new people starting Booktube? So the first thing that I would say is read the things that you enjoy. Don't worry about the books that are popular. It doesn't matter if a book is trending on TikTok. If it doesn't interest you, don't read it. Stick to what you enjoy, because then the people that comment on your channel like the things that you like, and you're gonna build your tribe that way. Make the videos that you enjoy. Don't feel peer pressured into like, oh, reviewing books that TikTok says are trending, or, you know, reading the books that have 1 stars on Goodreads. Those are fun videos, don't get me wrong. I'm not like crapping on that concept. I'm just saying if it doesn't sound fun to you, don't do it. My third piece of advice would be to stop worrying about perfection. It doesn't exist. I used to get so stressed out when I would post a video and I would notice that there was an editing mistake, or my dog was making noise, or the lighting wasn't perfect. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. We're all real human beings with real life, and real things happen. So get used to that idea. Get used to every once in a while you might say something wrong or sounds funny. You know, it's cool. It happens. Nobody's sitting there like waiting for you to make a mistake. And the fourth piece of advice that I would give you is crawling up my neck right now. And that is, if you have pets, put them in your videos. Most people love fuzzy animals. Since the start of my channel, I have gotten more comments about my dog being in my video than I do on my actual video content in and of itself. When I had my old dog Gibson, he would like lay next to me while we were filming videos. People would comment about him all the time. Now that I have Luna, and she's either here sitting in the video, in which case I get tons of comments about like what a cute dog or how pretty, or she's snoring in the background of the video and I get lots of comments about her snores and how cute it is and how funny it is. And now that we're fostering little Domino over here, who is deciding to, I don't know, maybe take the plunge off my arm. Come here. We get lots of comments about her too, and how fuzzy and cute and precious she is. So pimp out your animals, put them in your videos. People love seeing animals. The next piece of advice that I would give to a new booktuber is make friends. Go watch videos, comment on those videos. They don't have to be the biggest comments in the world. Say, cool video, I appreciated this recommendation, or I like the way that you shot this, or whatever. Just leave comments, go get to know people. Social media is about interaction, mutual interaction. So if you never interact with people, you can't expect people to want to interact back with you. And the other piece of advice I would give is shout people out. Even if you're a small channel. I know it might feel silly if you have 10 subscribers to be shouting out a channel that has 900 subscribers, but honestly, nobody ever dislikes receiving a shout out. I'm getting close to 2,000 subscribers right now. And to me, when I receive a shout out, no matter how big or small that channel is, it feels really good to know that somebody was watching and paying attention. Somebody heard a recommendation and it hit home with them. Somebody resonated with a piece of advice I gave or something that I said. Somebody found something I did meaningful, and that never stops being important. So if you have 10 subscribers and you want to do a video of my 10 favorite booktubers and they all have 20 or 30,000 subscribers, do it. Shout out small channels, shout out big channels. I guess this all kind of condenses down to be generous with your praise. Tell people when you like their content, shout them out, suggest channels, make recommendations. The more you do that, the more you will find a rich and loving community here on Booktube. Number 16 is to tag some people. So I'm gonna tag Web of Stories, Savage Reads, Chris Reviews, Beyond Books, and Jamie Kate. You should definitely check out all 5 of those channels because each of them is excellent. And I really look forward to hearing about their own Booktube journeys. So that is the end of this video. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you did, hit the thumbs up and comment down below and tell me some fun things about your own Booktube journey if you have a channel, or something that you think about if you were to start your own Booktube channel if you don't have one. And if you're not already subscribed to this channel, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button down below, as well as the notification bell, so that you never miss a video, and that way we can see each other again soon. Thanks so much for joining. Bye.